Hello everyone and welcome to another Magical Moon video, and I'm going to explain our absence in a second, and there's a very good reason. Today we're going to catch up with Thomas, give you all an update of where he's at, because it's been a very short period of time, but there's been a lot of progress and a lot of learning about him as a horse. He's such a kind spirit. But the reason we've been a little bit absent is because we had to say goodbye to one of our very special legends, the beautiful Madjik, the Alcateki, the golden horse. And people who've been following will know that he had been poorly for some time, and we tried lots of different ways around it. But ultimately we have to make the right decision. There can't be any suffering. They have to have that dignity and end of life. And that's what he got. Surrounded by the family, everyone here. And it has taken its toll, because everyone feels it, from the animals to the children and us, and it's just really, really heart-wrenching. But it's something, it's part of what we do, and now we can celebrate the life that he had, the retirement that he was able to have, along with all the other animals here at our home. So without further ado, let's go and meet a very, very special Thomas. big lumber at my shin. Ooh. That's it, kneecap. Ooh. Who's there? So we've been for our little walk up and down the drive. He's just in having a siesta. He goes out in the morning and he's in one of the little paddocks. He has his hay, he has his feed, he's got water there. We just take him for a little bit of in-hand work, a bit of togetherness, a bit of just getting him used to being around us, just trusting us that little bit more. And it's all part of the settling in process. I think he's getting there really, really quickly. When he sees Jenny come out in the morning, he's whinnying and yeah, he's getting a lot more vocal, he's getting a lot more expressive, which is just lovely to see. With Thomas, there are definitely a lot more questions than answers, and there have been hundreds of questions based off the last video when we first went to pick him up and we brought him home. And I'll do my very best to go through just broadly what it's all about. If you want to check out more in detail of what's going on, we have got Adopt Thomas, and we've also got the patrons, which have been so well supported. A massive thank you to you guys. As I say, I'm just going to give you a broad overview. So when he came, you could see he was very unsure, very worried, very malnourished, and he had a very long mane. And what was hidden within that mane was lots of well, not very nice things. And we had a plan to be able to try and use that lovely long mane to plait it together. Jenny made a rough plait, and we were going to try and haul it over and use the weight of it to try and help another ailment, which was his crest, which we'll talk about in a minute. But first things first, when we got to the merchant, it was clear that something was going awry because he stunk. A really powerful household cleaning agent was being used on all of his mane. And we managed to be as polite as we could and say, we really need to get him on the lorry and get him home. And as soon as we got back, you might have noticed Jenny wearing the mask. And actually at the time, I was standing upwind, so it was okay. But the stench, the actual chemical stench and smell of all the other stuff going on was completely overwhelming. But more importantly, if you're in the wrong place, it would have been very harmful. So we got to work to just try and get it off and get him as washed as we could. And it became very apparent quite quickly we weren't going to be able to save the mane. But even in this very short period of time, just putting my fingers there, there's a good centimetre of growth. So I don't think it's going to be too long and he will have his mane back. Of course, it's only a moment in time, but a necessity for that horse husbandry, that care that he so needed. And you can see he's still got his forelock, and this is his fringe. And underneath there's a little area there, which again, a little bit like we'll get onto the crest, just needs attention because it's a bit of folded skin. So Jenny goes round and keeps it clean and keeps it talcum powder, keeps it dry, and we can just keep an eye on it. And things are going to be so much easier. Now he's being loved and cared for, we know what we need to do, we just have to regularly do it. You can see from the crest here, it is a little bit wobbly. I think we're just going to cut and we'll go in and we'll have a closer look. So you can see this area on his crest. So the mane sat here and it should be up and even and in the middle of his neck. So before it hung down quite severely, even over where it is now, you can see it's just starting to recede, which is really good news. And under here you can see his coat's got this lovely shine, is starting to come, his skin's starting to it's just being a bit more malleable, whereas it was so dry and he was in, bless him, as you saw, in quite a bad way. But under here there's a lot of damage from that household cleaning product, that very strong chemical, and it's actually burned the underneath of the skin, and he's got that discoloration, and it will come back to a degree. But everything, all his little nicks and scrapes and all his lumps and bumps, and some of you have asked about on his body, we don't know, of course we don't know his history, but what we do know is we're able to start working our way through him. Just going to show you, we'll have another little move round and have a look at his legs. So he has got these beautiful stocky little legs, and we had a lot of again, infestation, which was deep into his skin, but was also hidden, shrouded by that beautiful feather that he's got. So he looked like really long, big, baggy trousers. But we were able to then go round, just quietly and softly go round he didn't take any offence to it. I think he knew we were trying to help him, and we could get back to a gain as short as possible. And even in this short period of time, again, the healing has just been fantastic. He has almost, well, the wrinkles on the front legs are almost nearly gone. There's a lot to do with the lymphatic system, a lot to do with his general heart, and of course his heart. And that's one of the other big problems he had when the vet came, a very, very unstable heart. He was very concerned that, well, there was a chance of even sudden death. He was in such a bad way. But, as we said, every day, bit by bit, that little bit of nourishment, that little bit of love goes such a long way. So generally that lymphatic system, all the other bits in his body are just starting to come round. And what's really interesting, what we see with a lot of really, really neglected horses, is their skin. So their skin, from being, as I was saying, being very, very dry, within the first few days, once they realise that they're not in that flight and survival mode, that they're actually able to relax and let themselves down, they almost start to shed their skin. And it's almost a part of that new beginning. It's really, really interesting. As I said, we've seen it with a few of the poorly horses, and yeah, it all starts peeling off, and they look really, really, I'd say not well, but things just start to get going. And I think it's, as I say, that rebirth, which is really, really exciting, because you know what the next bit is. You know that every little bit is another bit, hopefully, for them just taking those little steps to getting really well again. And as a general condition, as a rule, he was very, very underweight. And we're talking about a horse, he was, well, a quarter of the weight that he should have been. So his total body weight was a quarter of what it should have been when we got him. He's already started to fill out a little bit, which is lovely. He started to put condition on. But the next phase of healing, the next phase of growing, is that gentle exercise, keeping him moving, and just keep building him up slowly so that he starts to fill into himself, so into all that, what I call that lovely puppy rough that he's got all over him, that he just starts to take up a bit of the slack. And as I say, the signs are all looking really, really positive. I think I found the old wearer of this fly mask, and behind me is the lovely Athos, Dilly and Nevada. We're not going to go down and disturb them, but they're palling up. They're just getting used to being as another little herd, and it's lovely to see. But the really good news is, the update is, Athos is going to be staying with us. The plan originally was to help another budding charity out. They were trying to raise funds to go and rescue him. We were able to step in and go and get him and give him a safe house. But since having him, we've learned he is a tricky customer. He's had a very checkered past. We think he might have even been completely on his own, so he's never had that social interaction with other horses. He is very close to Dilly and Nevada, but we're not sure. He just seems a little bit lost with everything. He's such a kind horse. There's not a nasty bone in his body, but we spoke to the other charity, and between us, we all came to the idea that it would be fantastic to really develop his character, and so that he can be content, he can enjoy retirement that he's got here. And those days ahead are just going to be filled with being able to socialise with all the different legends and the other animals here, which he'd never been able to do. He was just very, very unsure. And more importantly, he's going to get closer to us as people around him, learn to trust the people that are looking after him. And really, I've got a job ahead of me with a little bit of natural horsemanship, a bit of, really what I used to do all the time, trying to help a horse like him who is a little bit out at sea. I'm going to leave him be now. I'm going to head back up to the yard.